This is absolutely delicious, great to serve for a dinner party. I'm only making enough for two, so in fact I have just cut off that little end piece because I have a bag in the freezer of just little odds and ends of pork fillet, which is great to then use to make a stroganoff. So I've cut it to a size that is enough for two. You may want to use a whole fillet. I have trimmed it of all of the sinew. I'm very carefully going to cut across the middle. Basically, we're making a pocket, so you don't want to cut all the way through to the other side. Just a pocket, not going to the end, so keep the end closed. That's lovely. The next thing we're going to do is, I've melted about 10 grams of butter. I've got 1 shallot, finely chopped. I'm just going to cook that until it's soft. Next going in is 1 firm pear that has been chopped into little cubes, and cook that until they start to soften. Season with a little bit of salt and pepper and leave to cool for a little while. About a tablespoon of tarragon, that can be mixed in. And now I'm going to just put some of this in the bottom of the fillet. We'll keep the rest for later. Then Gorgonzola cheese, squish that in on top. I've got 2 slices. Make another slit just along there so that you can pull it over, and do the same on the other side, and then secure it together with some string. Season all over with some salt and pepper, and then put aside until you're ready to cook. If you're putting it in the fridge until later, don't forget to bring it out and let it come to room temperature just before you cook it. Take your pork out about an hour before you want to cook it, and sprinkle it all over, top and bottom, with flour. Preheat the oven to 200 degrees. In a pan which can then go in the oven, we're going to melt about 50 grams of butter and a tablespoon of olive oil. Take your floured pork fillet and brown it on all sides in the pan. The pork has browned on all sides. I'm putting in 120 ml of wine. Let the alcohol bubble off. I've got the remainder of the pear with shallot. That can get spread round in the pan. Bring that to a simmer, and this will now go in the oven for 20 minutes. This has come out of the oven. I've got a warm tray waiting for it. Put it on the tray. Actually, I'm going to leave the juices in this pan and let that reduce a little bit. Be careful because it's hot, but you want to release the string with some scissors and remove it. I know that I had 4 pieces of string, so that's 2. Cover it with foil and leave it to rest for 10 minutes. Time is up. Any collected juices get poured into the sauce pan, the pan with the sauce. Don't waste a thing, especially those little cheesy bits stuck on the bottom. Just stir that into the sauce. Now we'll carve this into slices. I'm not doing carbs tonight because I feel this is naughty enough and there's plenty of protein. I'll be sharing the recipe for this. This is creamed caraway seed cabbage. And plenty of that pear sauce. Pear and gorgonzola. Oh, Lord. Bit of pepper. And here we have it. Pork fillet stuffed with gorgonzola and pear. This is for half a cabbage. I'm using Savoy cabbage. I've got shallots this size, 3 of them, finely chop them. In a pan, I'm melting about 20 grams of butter, and I'm putting in the finely chopped shallots, and I'm just going to let those sweat until they're soft. Shallots are nice and soft. I'm going to tip in, this is about half a teaspoon of caraway seeds, which I have just very lightly crushed. And now the shredded cabbage. Season with salt. Coat everything in the butter. You want to cook this on a low heat so that your cabbage doesn't become too discoloured. I've got about 60 ml of white wine, which is I think about 1/4 cup. That's going to go in, and we will now leave this to cook until everything is nice and soft and ready. My cabbage is nearly done. I'm just going to pour in, I've got about 50 ml of cream. Stir it through, and I'm just going to return that to the heat for a couple of minutes.